Hey everyone, I think you're going to find it shocking, maybe surprising, what SoundHound AI CEO had to say following the company's quarterly earnings results, given that the stock price was down 19% on the day following the earnings release. So you would expect the CEO to have delivered some pessimistic results and talking downbeat about the company. That's not what you're going to see in these comments. You're actually going to see the opposite. So I found it quite surprising that there was such a difference between the reaction of the stock price and the tone of the CEO. So let's jump into these comments.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So the CEO saying that they broke a new quarterly record for revenue this quarter, surpassing 18.8 million, which was up 80% year over year, and adjusted EBITDA also improved by 80% year over year. Additionally, they believe that voice and conversation is the most natural way to interact with technology. And fortunately for product creators, we can bring that product to life by simply adding a tiny, inexpensive microphone. Well, they make it sound so easy, despite the fact that they're delivering some of the most innovative audio technology. The CEO is kind of understating the complexity of delivering this technology, saying that customers choose us because they believe our technology is the best and we help them protect their users' data. He goes on to say that drivers can use voice and conversation to ask about fitting special features, troubleshoot, and more without having to spend time and effort into these cumbersome printer documents, right? Some of these documents, like for instance, the manual for your car, right? Those can be rather cumbersome with the tiny print and trying to find what you need from those fine details, where you can just ask the audio in the car, hey, when this light is showing up, what does it mean? Or how do I fix it? What should I do? And in that way, interacting with the car is much more effective, much more enjoyable than trying to look through the manual for that one thing that you need to find out about your car. So I agree with the CEO here that conversationally communicating with the car and other appliances is much more effective than looking through documents and trying to find the thing you need for that manual. And the more complex the technology, the more helpful the audio will be, right? When you're increasing in complexity, the use is becoming more difficult and less accessible to broader market participants. So if you can have this audio technology as an interface, that will help broader market adoption for many of these product categories, which will be one reason why they will want to implement SoundHound AI's technology into the products, because it will make the products more accessible. A broader audience would be interested in purchasing products if they could feel confident that they could use the products without the complexity involved in using it to their best case. The CEO goes on to say that they also license their technology to smart TVs and IoT devices, for example. Smart TVs is a great example of how to use their technology. Speaking into your remote and having the TV respond to your commands is much more convenient than having to use the remote to type in things. For example, searching for a movie. Instead of having to search for the title, if you could just say it, that will be faster than having to type it in one at a time, especially given that remote controls have numbers on it. They don't usually have letters on it, so that makes it even more inconvenient for users of those devices. He goes on to say that they offer customer services or businesses such as restaurants, home services, or personal care and professional service. That's another area that's ripe for innovation. The current customer service automated system, I don't need to tell you how bad it is. You've probably experienced it, where they ask you what you're calling about, press 1, 2, or 3, and then they ask you to put your account number in maybe, and then they ask you for your name, they ask you for your account number, and maybe 6 or 7 things before you get to a customer service representative. And then when that representative, the human, comes on the line with you, that human asks you the same questions that were just asked to you in the automated system oftentimes. So it leaves you wondering, why was I here for 3-4 minutes typing in these responses when you were just going to ask me anyways? So that whole system is inconvenient. There's a long wait time. Fewer customer service representatives are being able to help customers in the way that they need. And so this could be a huge advantage if companies can implement this technology and program it effectively where it can actually be helpful, where people that call in can find the answers they need when they're speaking to this automated service, where they're not going to feel frustrated and still ask to speak to a human. The programming has to be effective enough where it does meet people's needs. So far, their technology is live in about 10,000 merchant locations, but the CEO is saying that there's over 30 million businesses in their near-term total addressable market. 30 million compared to they're live in just about 10,000. That's an optimistic forecast there for your total addressable market, given that you've only penetrated 10,000 locations. So ambitious comments to be sure, and certainly those comments don't match with a stock price that was down 19.14% on the day following their earnings release. Admit that much of this was because the stock was up by so much heading into earnings. I can show you that here in the last 5 days. Even after that drop, the stock is still up 55%. If I go back 1 month, SoundHound AI stock is up 264%. Before the earnings release, it was up more than 300%. So there was a lot of optimism baked into this stock already, given the rising effectiveness of AI. And I haven't mentioned yet in this video, although I have in my other videos, that NVIDIA made an investment in SoundHound AI. So given all of those good news that had come out for SoundHound AI heading into the earnings report, the stock was already pricing in so much optimism. And so maybe these comments were not enough to further fuel increases in the stock price, or maybe there's some profit taking going on. Nevertheless, the CEO's comments are surprising given the reaction in the stock price. He goes on to say that while our first drive-through offering continues to ramp up production, we're on pace to reach our goal of 100 lanes by the end of 2024. By the end of 2024, 100 lanes. So very slow progress on this front, although this is one area that could grow for SoundHound AI if they're able to serve these 100 locations well. These restaurants likely have multiple locations, so if they find the service effective, they can expand and scale relatively quickly to many, many more locations. The drive-through is another area that's ripe for innovation, just like the customer service area. The communication when you're driving up and trying to order through the speaker, and they're repeating back to you your order, and you go back and forth, and you sometimes get it wrong, and then you have to wait for them to take back the thing that you got wrong, and then they have to bring you the order that you got right. So this can be improved significantly through SoundHound AI's technology, but they have to actually do it, right? 100 lanes by the end of 2024 would be a start, and they need to accelerate that going forward. So this is something I'll be paying close attention to for SoundHound AI. But to be sure, optimistic comments from the CEO here of SoundHound AI. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.